Welcome to Firearms Friday from the Wyoming State Museum here in Cheyenne. My name is Evan Green. I'm the firearms historian for the State Museum. And over the last 3 or 4 years, I've been going through the collection and doing some research, recataloging some of the firearms in our permanent collection. So today we're going to talk about Pinfire firearms. Well, what are those? So, a guy named Casimir Lafechaux, he was French, and I probably butchered the pronunciation of that because my French is weak. Well, actually, my French is non-existent, so apologies to Casimir if I butchered his name. But he patented in 1835 one of the first self-contained cartridges for use in breech-loading firearms. And his patent was for a Pinfire. And we've got some images that we'll put on here so that you can see that the cartridge itself is, if you have it horizontal, vertically there is a pin that goes down through the base of the cartridge and detonates, when it's fired, detonates a primer that is inside the cartridge case. So we got 3 Pinfire firearms here, and let's take a look at them. The first one is this one, which I think is kind of unique. I think it's probably Belgian, although it might be French. I was unable to find anything exactly like this, but it is unique in that it's a double-barreled firearm. So it's got two barrels, 2 hammers, and 2 triggers. And the triggers only appear when you cock the firearm. Then the triggers drop down. Well, that's pretty cool. And what's neat about this one is this combination sight and safety. And you will see that there are 2 holes in the top of the barrels. And that's where the pin on the Pinfire would protrude. And if the safety is not in place and you pulled the trigger, the hammer would drop, hit that pin, force it down into the primer inside the cartridge, and discharge the firearm. But this is a safety mechanism, kind of crude. But when that is slid forward to there and a hammer falls, it's prevented from hitting that pin on the Pinfire. This is a good one. This one is broken. The hammer on this side is broken, but still kind of an interesting double-barreled firearm. And when I was doing research on Pinfires, I found an image of a very similar double-barreled Pinfire firearm that was retrieved from the Civil War battlefield at Fredericksburg. So I did not know until I started down this rabbit hole that these Pinfire revolvers, like these 2, were used during the American Civil War. In fact, at the start of the Civil War, when there was a scramble for all sorts of firearms on both sides of the conflict, the Union purchased 10,000 Pinfire revolvers. And the people who did the excavation, finding Pinfire cartridges, finding expended Pinfire cartridges, finding relics of Pinfire revolvers at Civil War battlefields, estimated that there may have been as many as 14,000 Pinfire cartridges manufactured by the Union in the Civil War. So these are Pinfire revolvers. And again, many of these are known, if they were made in France or even Belgium, as Lafechaux revolvers for old Casimir, who invented the Pinfire cartridge. And you can see similarly to, oh, this one won't cock, it's jammed up. But you can see, again, the holes in the cylinder where that protruding pin would have come up and protruded so that when the firearm was fired, the hammer would hit that pin and discharge it. Now, the downside of the Pinfire cartridges were that if you had a bunch of them in your pocket and you bumped that pin, it might go off in your pocket. So it required some care in handling of the ammunition. So these are kind of interesting in how they function. I just swept the videographer there, sorry. In that they load through this loading gate on the side. This one is missing the ejector, but this other one has that ejector in place. And again, this one is frozen up with corrosion, so it doesn't move, but it would have ejected the spent cartridge through that port. And these are interesting because they worked both double action and single action, which was kind of unique at the time. So there we have it, some Pinfire firearms used in the American Civil War. And again, examples of these, including this double barrel, have been excavated and retrieved from Civil War battlefield sites. So, Pinfires. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, put them in the section below or give us a call at the museum. We're always glad to talk to you if you have additional questions that you want to go into detail. So, thank you for watching.